Soy la hermana Catherine. Actualmente vivo en Wisconsin, cerca de Milwaukee, lugar de exilio de nuestro padre fundador. Pero originalmente soy de Alemania. Soy una hermana misionera, enviada primeramente a Texas, USA, en 1958. Después trabajé por 32 años en México como enfermera y luego médica. Como les dije, soy alemana y pertenecía a la juventud femenina de Schönstadt durante los años 50 de la diócesis de Münster. Si ustedes se recuerdan, fue a la juventud de nuestra diócesis que el padre Kentenich le había regalado la corona de la RTA, el 18 de agosto de 1945. Para aquel acontecimiento todavía era muy pequeña y aún no había conocido al movimiento de Schönstadt, pero me acuerdo muy bien lo que nos contaron de ese tiempo. Ya por unos años, la corona RTA había coronado a la madre en la habitación de nuestro padre en la casa de retiro, o Bundesheim, en Schönstadt, pues pertenecía a un curso de hermanas de María que le había regalado al padre con esa intención. De vez en cuando, una de ellas se le pedía al padre Kentenich para limpiarla y pulirla, y luego la volvía a él para su cuarto. Esta vez, en agosto de 1945, por casualidad pasó que la juventud femenina de Münster tuvo una jornada en Schönstadt, el día en que la hermana le dio de vuelta la corona del padre. Aquí comento que durante mi época, y seguramente también durante los años 40, los encuentros de la juventud femenina de nuestra diócesis eran muy grandes, alrededor de 300 chicas. Es muy importante que ustedes sepan la corriente de vida que dominaba en nuestra diócesis. Para nosotras, la Virgen de Schönstadt era nuestra querida reina, y nosotras el castillo de ella. Dentro de la diócesis estábamos divididos en distritos, y cada distrito tenía una parte de ese castillo. Mi distrito era el santuario, y como grupo dentro de ese distrito nos identificamos con la cruz del santuario. El padre Kentenich conocía bien nuestro ideal, nuestro amor a la reina y nuestra entrega para el poder de blanco. También él sabía de todos los sacrificios que ellas habían ofrecido al capital de Gracia para su liberación del campo de la concentración de Dachau. Había regresado a Schönstadt recientemente en el mayo de ese año. Por todo eso, el padre Kentenich decidió regalarle a la juventud femenina de Münster esa corona que a él le encantaba tanto y que tenía tanta importancia para las hermanas del curso al cual la corona RTA había pertenecido. Durante mis años en la juventud, ya hace casi 70 años, Me acuerdo que en todas nuestras celebraciones y encuentros diocesanos, la corona RTA siempre estuvo presente. Era simplemente parte de nuestra vida en el castillo de la reina de la diócesis de Münster. Me enteré cuando ya estaba en Texas que cuando se construyó la Casa de Juventud en Schönstadt, die Sonnenau, o Prado del Sol, la diócesis regaló la corona para que toda la juventud coronara a la Mater en la casa con esa corona, un tesoro del Padre. Así fue mi experiencia de la corona RTA en mi tiempo. Muchas gracias.
Hello, my name is Sister Catherine, and I was asked to share with you an experience from when I was part of the Girls' Youth. I am from Minnesota in the USA, and in the year 2000 I was privileged to participate in a pilgrimage to Schönstadt, Germany. Then we went on to Rome for World Youth Day, and during that pilgrimage I was part of the Living Crown. So a little bit of prehistory to the Living Crown stream in that year. We were preparing to crown the Blessed Mother with the RTA crown that Father Kentenich had given to the Schönstadt Girls Youth of Münster, who had later given it to the Sonnenau. And the Sonnenau, the Girls' Youth House in Schönstadt, Germany, had recently been renovated. So they were redoing all the rooms. It really looked beautiful. And they wanted to have the entire Girls' Youth of the world come together in the year 2000 to crown the Blessed Mother in the front entrance as the Regina Ter Admirabilis, as the RTA. So in preparation for this event, the crown, the actual Father Treasure itself, traveled throughout the world from Girls' Youth to Girls' Youth in order that those who couldn't actually participate in person could still be part of the stream by seeing and praying with the crown in their own countries. Unfortunately, on that journey, it was stolen. One of the youth traveling to the next place had put it in her suitcase carefully and not in her carry-on, and it was taken from the suitcase. So this started a whole new stream and a whole new realm of questioning and prayers, and the youth leaders of the world decided if we don't have the physical crown to give the Blessed Mother, then we ourselves have to be that living crown. And thankfully there were some in Germany that had enough of a mind to figure out how to visually show this image of the living crown. So on the morning of the day we were going to crown the Blessed Mother, we had our morning inspiration in the Adoration Church, and then we were all sent out to an empty farm field that had been harvested a few days before, and they had staked out the shape of the living crown. And each one of us had a little map of the living crown sketched out with lines through it like a grid, and each grid had a little box, and the box was numbered, and then a group of us was assigned to each number. There were 900 girls' youth from all over the world at this event, 100 of us from the United States, and about 40 to 50 of those were from Minnesota. I forget the exact number, but it was pretty awesome. So as we were going into this living crown, I was the first one in my group to realize what was going on. And our group was assigned the little box that was in the very tip of the A. And I thought to myself, I want to find myself on this picture after it's taken. So I went straight for that corner, and that's where I stood my ground. And so when you see the picture, you can actually see me in the corner. If you look, so here's RTA, and then here with the white shoes and the blue skirt and blouse, you'll see me. Now, after the RTA picture was taken, there was a helicopter that flew over our heads. We had to wait about an hour until he came, and then we dispersed, and that was the first beautiful image, was that this RTA crown was alive, and it was sent out into the whole world as each one of us walked away from that giant image. The next beautiful thing that came out of it was when we were that afternoon ready to have the crowning, and the picture wasn't there yet. And so we weren't quite sure what to do, but the Germans like to be punctual, so they started. We had our procession from the original shrine to the Sonnenau. We were carrying flags and banners. All the different countries were represented. We had one from our pilgrimage carried the USA flag, another carried the Puerto Rican flag. And then it came closer and closer to the moment when we were to crown the Blessed Mother. And suddenly this man came running past all of us who were outside, because of course 900 youth can't fit inside. So he came running past us holding something in his hand. And it turns out that was the pilot of the helicopter. And he had just developed the picture and gotten it printed out just in time. So the Blessed Mother took care that at just the right moment, her picture would come to crown her at the entrance of the Sonnenau. Another beautiful follow-up that I did want to share is what happened after that. You know, each of these groups of youth went back to our own places. I went back with my youth to Minnesota, and we had purchased while we were there a replica of the RTA crown. So the following year, we crowned the Blessed Mother with a replica of the golden RTA crown in our youth room in Minnesota. And after that, a few years later, I entered the Sisters family, and I was in Waukesha, Wisconsin at our provincial headquarters and our retreat center for the next 5 years or so as a candidate, a postulant, a novice, and young sister. And during those years, there were many pilgrimages who came from all over the world to experience Father Kentenich in exile. And I was often able to work with them, whether I was in the store at the retreat center, or later I was the sacristan of the province house. And it was interesting because whenever there were young women there who were about my age or a little older, we would kind of eye each other up, and you could tell we were both wondering the same question. And finally, either I would ask them or they would ask me, "Were you part of the Living Crown?" And of course the answer was yes. And it was so beautiful because of course I hadn't met them in that crowd of 900 people when I was there, but just knowing that we were part of that same living crown created an instant solidarity, an instant sense that we were friends, that we knew one another. And that was a reality of the covenant of love that was so deep for me as a young candidate postulant and a young sister, right? That idea that someone I had never met before, someone who didn't speak my language, who had grown up in a completely different culture, we knew each other. We had this common link, this common bond in the Living Crown. So as you search for your own way of living out of the Living Crown stream, I pray that that reality can also become a reality for you, to find that friendship and that unity with others of other cultures and other languages, how the Living Crown can mean so much to you. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Kayla Doll, and I am a part of the Schoenstatt Girls and Young Women here in Wisconsin. And I heard that you all will be receiving your little RTA crowns very soon, and I just wanted to congratulate each of you. This reminds me of the time when I received my RTA crown, my personal little one. It was in 2014, the 100th Jubilee of Schoenstatt. I had the chance to go to Germany and to Rome along with my mom and my brother. You know the history of the RTA crown, that in 1999 it was lost or stolen, and the girls' youth took the ideal of being a living crown. Then, for the Jubilee year, a replica crown was made, traveled around the world again. This time it wasn't stolen, and it was then given to Pope Francis as a sign that the youth, we are here to live for the Church and for our God and the Blessed Mother. Of course, this is a very, very brief history, and if you don't know and want to know more, or if you have questions, you can go talk to Sister Maria Gracia. You can tell her I sent you. Now, to be honest with you, I don't honestly tell this story to any of the girls around here, so you get a different insight than most girls do about the RTA crown and my little story. But before the pilgrimage, the United States was chosen to give the RTA crown to Pope Francis, and out of the girls going, my name was chosen. So that was very special, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I could go on and on and on about the pilgrimage and everything that we did and all the people that we saw and all the people that we met. But I'm first going to tell you about a little bit of the RTA experience that I had in Germany. So when I first went to Germany, I didn't have my own RTA crown, and I definitely was looking to get one of my own. So when I was visiting the youth tent in Germany, I ran into the youth sister that was there, and she said she could probably get me one, although she didn't have one there for me at the time. And so after the next big event on the 17th, she said she'd meet us down by this stage where we all gathered. So that night, after the ceremonies and everything, it was beautiful, and I'm not going to go into that now. But there were so many people. It was the night before the 18th, the Great Covenant Day. So the crowds were amazing, but also I thought, like, I would never find her. And yeah, but she found me. So, and she gave me my little RTA crown right a little bit before our youth encounter in the original shrine. So I had my RTA crown for that. And my little RTA crown is very special for me because, first of all, it's mine, but it also has a little chip right by the top of the A. So I always know it's mine, and I could pick it out in a lineup of 1,000. So each of your little RTA crowns will be special to you as well, and I can't wait for you to receive them. But the night of the 17th had more in store that night for me than just that. So before the 17th and the 18th, that hour between at midnight, the Girls' Youth had the original shrine reserved for just them. So we started from the Sun and Now, and we made a line of girls all the way from the Sun and Now to the original shrine, and along that line we had a little RTA crown, just like my own, that was passed along to each girl on its way to the original shrine. Once it was at the original shrine, it was placed behind the large crown that already was there crowning the Blessed Mother. Right? So the Girls' Youth have a little hidden representation of ourselves, of what it means to be a living crown in the original shrine. The act of passing the crown to each girl, or putting the little RTA crown behind the larger crown in the original shrine, all the celebrations that we had are just celebrations if we weren't living and striving to be a living RTA crown, right? So the celebrations and the acts are important, but there had to be an act or many little acts before that, right? What does it mean to be a living crown, right? To give our loyalty to our Blessed Mother and place our confidence in her. If we give her our loyalty, she in return gives us her loyalty. Same for each of the virtues. We give her our purity, our faithfulness, our nobility, even though sometimes we might come up short. And in return, she'll give us her purity, her faithfulness, and her nobility to us to the fullest, right? So to be a living crown doesn't mean lots and lots of great acts like Joan of Arc did in life, but many simple tasks, and often many little hidden tasks, right? You can't even see the RTA crown in the original shrine. It's hidden. We keep our little RTA crowns in our pockets, in our cars, in our wallets. We keep it with us, but they're hidden. We do the little acts of love for our queen. So skipping ahead about a week in the story, we're in Rome, and it's the day of the papal audience. A girl from Mexico, along with myself, were told that we would be giving the RTA crown to Pope Francis, and that we would go and explain what the RTA crown meant to us and how we were striving and living with it in our lives. This did not quite happen the way that we were told. Sometimes the Blessed Mother has a different idea, but as Pope Francis was walking in, we were along the sideline, and we were holding the RTA crown out to him. He looked at us, blessed the crown, and I kept going. At the end, we ended up giving the RTA crown to the man behind Pope Francis, who had lots of different gifts from different people for gifts for Pope Francis. So he eventually did get the RTA crown, just not quite in the way that we had intended or hoped he would have gotten it. But sometimes, like I said, the Blessed Mother has a different idea. And like before, it's not the celebrations, it's not the ceremony, it's not the act that we had to do to give Pope Francis the gift. It's not how we gave it to him, but it's what we gave him, right? We gave the church, we gave God, we gave the Blessed Mother ourselves to be a living crown. That's the most important part, right? So if the actions mean nothing, if our actions mean nothing, then we're not a living crown, right? So now, just like me, and now just like you soon will be, and are striving to be already, we are united with girls from all over the world who want to be living crowns for their queen. Sometimes, oftentimes, what it means to be a living crown is hidden. So I also want to challenge you to not let your little RTA crowns be cold and empty, just a little piece of metal sitting somewhere, but fill the crown with many gifts of love. Crown the Blessed Mother with your contributions to the capital of grace. Crown her with yourself. You be the living crown. You be the crown that you crown the Blessed Mother with. So how am I living crown today? And in the years that I've had my living crown and I've worked with the living crown, one way is I use my SDO. I find ways of offering to the Blessed Mother each of the 3 little virtues within my SDO, my spiritual daily order. I make sure I say a morning and an evening prayer to keep the Blessed Mother in my life and to offer her my living crown throughout the day and the little deeds that I do. I try to keep positive thoughts around me, even though if others might be continuing to say negative things about the people around me or the circumstances that we're in, but to keep positive thoughts about those around me and what people are saying. And just to bring the tiny little things of my life to the Blessed Mother through the RTA crown. When you receive your crown, you may want to crown your Blessed Mother. It is a crown after all, but I really challenge you not to make it a cold and empty crown. Let it be full of all of your worries, your joys, your sacrifices. Put your entire self into the crown. Be the living crown. Congratulations to each and every one of you, and from one little living crown to the next, MPHC EV.
Mi nombre es Nicole. Yo soy Corona Viva porque quiero llevar la imagen de María al mundo y conquistar muchos corazones para ella.
Hola, mi nombre es Berenice Colón y yo soy Corona Viva porque quiero ser ejemplo de María en el mundo.
Hola, mi nombre es Xiomara Rodríguez Justiniano y yo soy Corona Viva porque quiero seguir la palabra de Dios y contagiar a otros con la paz, el amor y la fe que ésta transmite en mí.
Hola, mi nombre es Verónica y yo soy Corona Viva porque quiero reflejar esa paz y tranquilidad que María reflejaba al mundo.
Hola, mi nombre es Lourdes Rodríguez. Yo soy Corona Viva porque quiero llevar la alegría y esperanza a todas las personas que María pone en mi camino y mi corazón.
Hola, mi nombre es Aidil Alfaro y yo soy Corona Viva porque deseo reflejar la luz y el amor de Jesús y de María.
Hola, mi nombre es Nicole Nieves y yo soy su Corona Viva porque quiero adoptar el ejemplo de vida de María y quiero que el mundo la conozca para que por medio de ella puedan llegar muchos corazones a Jesús.
Mi nombre es Luz Nayeli, yo soy Corona Viva porque quiero llevar alegría a las personas que me rodean.
Hola, mi nombre es María Pérez Martel y yo soy Corona Viva porque deseo imitar las virtudes de nuestra Madre y al igual que ella, llevar más personas al Padre.
Hola, mi nombre es Mariela López Font y yo soy Corona Viva porque quiero llevar el mensaje de Dios para que conozcan a Dios y a María como yo los he conocido.
Yo soy su Corona Viva.
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 Yo soy su Corona Viva.